As you see, I am now dressed in a thin collared linen undershirt. This is a pullover shirt that is not buttoned all the way down, as you can see when I stand up. So, that's all I'm dressed in right now. I have my underwear on, but they're modern. The standard soldier at the time would wear a pair of woolen drawers, basically long underwear, if you've ever been camping, except they're secured around the heel by a strap. These will ensure warmth, but the thing is, they're much less comfortable than modern underwear. So a lot of reenactors wear just typical modern underwear under their pants. So the typical soldier would be putting on a pair of woolen pants. These are thick wool and protect you from all sorts of inclement weather, and they're very warm as well. A soldier would tuck his linen shirt into the pants. These are sky blue. Some soldiers would wear homespun gray ones and stuff, secured with suspenders around the shoulders. Buttoned with a fly, not with a zipped, but with multiple buttons going down to the fly. These are very spacious and altogether not very well-fitting pants, but they came in two sizes back then, so as you see, it would be very odd for them to fit precisely. So next, you'll see my suspenders are not even. That's because this one broke a thing, so it has to pull higher to make it work. So before I go on to move on to the next piece of my uniform, I'm going to show you what I would wear in my pockets. Soldiers would carry a variety of objects, but most notably is a wallet. This thing just has a strap in it, some personal letters, writing utensils, that sort of thing in here, and that I'll put in my pocket down here. There are no back pockets, as you see on this, so people didn't have them. They were just not worn. Next is my pocket watch. This has a Union Eagle embossed on the front and is secured to my waistline by this little clip, which just rides right there. So, nice, convenient, excuse me, I burped, and I can tell time very easily. So, next, what I would wear, or what I would have, is some non-period items. For example, this is a lighter I always like to have with me, just in case I need to start a fire or something like that. And sometimes a soldier would carry a pocket knife. I have a large Bowie knife that I carry on my belt instead, so I wouldn't wear a pocket knife. So the next piece of item that a soldier would wear is his overcoat. This is a Union sack coat made of thick wool and secured at the front by 4 buttons. The sack coat also, as you'll see on the inside here, has a pocket which contains a testament and a reenacting item, a mini ball, so that I can just reach in and show people what a Union mini ball would look like. So, that's that. In the Civil War, it was customary, and indeed ordered by one of the Union generals, to always keep the top button of your sack coat buttoned at all times, while around in camp, on battle, everything. It was a regulation, I don't know why, but generals order weird things. So, I'll button this up, and go on to footwear. So, the typical soldier would wear these, a pair of woolen socks, sometimes 2 pairs, would be worn one under the other to provide maximum support. Remember, they didn't have any blister-proof moleskin or band-aids or anything, so to prevent blisters, they just wore more thick socks. In the trade of Civil War reenacting, sometimes a reenactor will wear a period piece of socks, a period pair of wool socks over a thinner, more insulating, modern wool sock. A thin one, maybe a dress shoe sock, something like that, just to keep in temperature and everything be fine, you know. So I pull them all the way up, and then put the pants down over them. Sometimes a soldier will tuck his pants into his boots, other times he will keep it out. Depends on how you're marching, where you're marching to. This is a standard brogan. I do not have any hobnails on here, but there is a heel plate, which is a piece of metal that makes the heel wear down less quickly. This is hard leather, and the outside is just soft leather. Secured by leather laces. They're very standard, nondescript shoes. Pretty comfortable, and not very well fitting. I do have a pair of insoles in these that are modern insoles just to keep my feet nice, because it's sometimes hard to march around all day. People back in the 1860s had tougher feet. They were tougher people in general, from working on farms, in fields, maybe fishermen. People who were experienced and did physical labor a lot more than we do. So it's to be expected that they wouldn't need that sort of comfort. I've elected to keep my pants out of my shoes just because I think that's a bit more nice looking. If I were a Zouave or another type of soldier, I would wear gaiters, in which case I would need to have the pants tucked in. Last and perhaps most importantly, a soldier must not forget his cover. This is the standard Union cap. It's called a forage cap because soldiers could put a bunch of food into their brims and carry a bunch of food like so. It's very large and useful on the forage there we go. To keep food in, that sort of thing. Otherwise, it's just here. It's very nice. Doesn't keep the sun off your ears or the back of your neck, unfortunately. So some soldiers would like to wear a handkerchief under it to keep your neck covered in the Lawrence of Arabia style, pictured here. Other than that, I think we'll move on to leathers. Leathers are the most important part of a soldier's kit. They deal with keeping his musket clean, having ammunition, all that sort of thing, and food as well. So, without further ado, I'll show you how to put on your leathers. The first item that would be worn is this. This is your haversack, filled with food, and maybe if you can fit it, some larger personal implements, but mostly just food. Soldiers would be rationed a lot of rations in cracker form. Really thick, hard cracker called hardtack or army biscuit that is very, very hard to eat, but is durable and heavy. You need to have a secure strap on this thing, and mine is knotted because it's too long otherwise. Put this around back here in the back under your collar so that it stays away from anything you may need to do. The next piece of gear is this, your cartridge box. This goes over the haversack. Some soldiers wear it the other way around, but I like to wear it this way, with the thing positioned in the middle, with the brass buckle positioned in the middle. This is now on my side, or on the buttock, as the case may be, with free access to cartridges. I can get in there and grab the small paper cartridges that I fight with. The next item is my belt, with a bayonet scabbard and bayonet, and the cap pouch on it. This is the U.S. Army standard issue belt with a belt fastener. When a soldier puts it on, you must be careful to keep this, the bayonet scabbard, out of the way of the buttons and the holes in the belt. The belt is then affixed to the side by a belt minder over here. And I cannot tell you how many times I have secured the belt minder and then realized that the cap pouch was behind me. And then I had to undo the belt minder again and slide the cap pouch back to its original position. It is a pain in the butt to fix. And shift it into place. And there we are. Soldier is now wearing his standard battle-ready equipment. Soldier is never supposed to leave without his haversack because he may be captured and he needs his food with him all the time. The last item is probably the most important. This is a canteen with canteen half. This carries a soldier's water. Soldiers go through a lot of water in a fighting battle day. So this is a standard canteen, and the canteen half here is basically just a canteen cut in half, and two of these are made. This can double as a plate, bowl, pan, anything. As you see, there's some scorch marks on it. I've used it as such. And it's secured to the thing with just this. Some soldiers would carry this inside their haversack, others would like not to. It's pretty much down to personal preference. A soldier would also have a cup. There it is. A cup on your haversack, or stuffed inside your haversack. I like to put it out here because it's easy to get to. If there's a water source you can drink from, sometimes reenactors will drink Gatorade. It's easy to get at your stuff. This should always be over your belt so that you can bring it up to drink and don't have to mind it in a way. With this sort of setup, it's very comfortably distributed weight-wise, and you can move around and fight very effectively. The last item that a soldier would have is his pack, or another way of carrying his personal effects, and sleeping equipment. This is a blanket roll, which is just a blanket, and I have a gum tarp here to protect it from inclement weather. I'm carrying 2 candles, an extra pair of socks, sort of personal stuff, and your shelter half, which is burrowed up inside here. This is pretty heavy, but it's everything that a soldier owns. When it becomes wearisome, you put it on the other side and make it very nice and tidy. For marching, I prefer it on this side so that I can carry my rifle from the shoulder like so, and it's not impinging or uncomfortable in any way. This is a little bit cumbersome, and I wouldn't elect to fight with it, but if you want to, it's up to you. When you come to the aim, the rifle butt will be against this shoulder, so it provides free access here. You don't have to worry about this getting in the way. However, reaching back, I still have free access to this and free access to this. This is the ideal fighting arrangement, so that you have free access to everything you may need to do. Last but not least is a way that we reenactors carry our rifles to events. This is the 1861 Springfield musket, and I carry it in this. This is a gun sack, purpose-made by the gun company, the company that manufactured this. To carry this, soldiers would not have these generally. You shouldn't store your rifle in this. You should store it outside in the open. Not outside, not outdoors, but not embellished in one of these. This has my name on it, as you see, so that it's not lost. And if a person doesn't have to look at your rifle to know who it belongs to. So, the rifle is just put inside this, put it over the rifle, and that just keeps dew, rain, anything you may need off of it. But, especially while you're transporting it, you don't want to be carrying around just a rifle out in the open. People might look at you funny. So, you just tie it with this. Just tie it with one little simple thing. You can do more knots. I don't really like to, just to keep it free and accessible. So I believe that's everything you may need for reenacting a soldier's kit. I wish I had other things to show you, because there are various alterations you could make to this. Namely, the first one being wearing an actual pack instead of electing to do this. I believe that is everything. That is indeed everything. Thank you guys very much for watching. I apologize I haven't been able to get very many videos out in the recent weeks. I've been very busy finishing up semester finals. But now that it's Christmas break, I think I have some new content for you. And as always, toothpaste on.